All right, guys. Again, I apologize. I don't know why it keeps doing this. If it's the connection or it's something else, I'm not sure. Um, I really apologize. I'm gonna try that. I'm really gonna try to get this down better in the future, so there's not any interruptions. I'm just gonna do it on Wi-Fi next time completely. Um, but continuing off where I was. Um, yeah. So my Discord is Brandon5455. I'm just gonna say this now. If it cuts out again, I completely apologize. Again, I'm gonna do better in the future to make sure that there are no interruptions, that nothing happens. I'm gonna do it on Wi-Fi and not on my cellular data anymore. It's just because there's just too many interruptions and people are getting kicked out of the stream, and it's definitely my fault. So I apologize. I didn't think there were gonna be this many interruptions and this many things happening. Um, my Discord is. I'll drop it. Just 1 second. My Discord is Brandon, Brandon 5455. Brandon 5455. I'm pretty sure. Let me get back to you guys on that. 'Cause I hardly ever use Discord, so it would just be better if I just put it in the description, have it in the descriptions, so you guys can see it all. Because I don't use Discord that much. I don't use it that often. So I think it's Brandon5455 with a capital B. I'm not 100% sure, but let me just drop it in the description for you guys so nobody gets confused. And I'll have that in the description, like I said, soon. I'll just add, okay, so it is that. Okay, awesome. Thank you. But yeah, as I was saying, I just don't understand. Why have kids? Why have kids if, I just can't find any good reason to have them. I think having kids, a lot of them are selfish reasons. I mean, why else would you bring somebody here? We're not going extinct. Back then, when there weren't many, when people weren't so prevalent. I mean, sure, like people were obviously having kids, you know, for the survival of the human race. But we have 8 billion people on this planet. We're not going anywhere. Why do we need more? Why do we need more people? For what? For what? Especially since we have all these people that are in orphanages, we have all these kids. It's the same thing to me. Now, I'm not comparing people to dogs, but it is in a way. It's like going to a breeder and having a breeder, somebody breed a dog. It's like, well, you have all these dogs that are unwanted in pounds. They go to kill shelters. They either get killed off or they get adopted. Why would you just not adopt a dog? Why would you just not adopt a kid? Okay, and I get it. They're going to have their own set of challenges, but isn't that the whole reason why else would you have a kid? If you're not going to have a kid to raise it and take on the challenges of raising the kid, yeah, they're going to have extra challenges because they were orphaned. They were dropped off at an orphanage. They're going to be a little messed up. I mean, that's just the way it is. But wouldn't you rather have the satisfaction of adopting a kid, knowing that, like, I'm taking on this kid as my own, and I'm going to give him a better life than he's had in this crummy orphanage, with people who don't really care about him, with people he doesn't know, they're not his family, he's never had a family. Like, why would you not adopt? It just doesn't make any sense to me why you wouldn't adopt a kid. Why you would just have a kid of your own instead of adopting. It just, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I think adoptions, if anything, is the most reasonable way to go. Like, if you want a kid and you want to raise a kid, why would you not adopt? Why wouldn't you? You know, I've had people tell me, oh, you would have beautiful babies, this and that, if you had a kid. I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would be a beautiful baby. But why do I need one? Why do I need to bring somebody in? Why do I need to bring another kid into this world? Why? To teach him what? That he wasn't here before and now he's here and now he's got to go through all this BS. He's got to do these things to make me proud. He's got to go to school. He's got to get a job. He's got to make this paper money that really has no value. The only reason it has value is because we give it value. You got to do all these things. You got to live like parents have kids, and then they put all these expectations onto their kid. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. And if you don't, you better not disappoint me, because if you do, well, you're going to be estranged. I'm going to kick you out of the house. You know, you're going to be an embarrassment in my eyes. I'm not going to want anything. To me, it does not make sense. Parents have these kids, they put all these expectations on these kids, and then when the kids fail, they look down upon them. Well, it's like, hello, you brought me here. I didn't want to be here. No, it's not. The last time, one of the reasons I did connect with them was for inheritance, to be honest. Yeah, it was definitely, it was a selfish reason on my part to go back, but no, it's not worth going back to your narcissistic parents for inheritance. You know why? Because you're not going to get the inheritance. Because in the inheritance, it's a carrot on the stick. That's what one of the ways a narcissist tries to get you back, aka hoovering, is to hoover you with money. You're not going to get any money from the narcissist. You're not going to get any prizes, any cash. You're not going to get any, and you're sure is not going to get any love. That's the most important thing. You're not going to get any love. You're not going to get any validation. You're not going to get any respect, and you're not going to get them to admit to any wrongdoing. And you're not going to get an apology, because that's not how the narcissist operates. The narcissist operates in black or white. It's either you're all bad or you're all good. There is no in between. There is no in between with the narcissist. You either play along with their game or you don't. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to play a narcissist game. I don't want any narcissists in my life. So why would you go back? Why would you go back to a person who doesn't care about you, who doesn't love you? They're not going to treat you with respect. They don't care about you. They're not going to give you any validation. They're not going to own up to any of their mistakes. No, it's not worth it. Even if you did get the money in the end, it's blood money. It's just money that they're giving you in order for you to take their abuse. They're giving you gifts, they're giving you money, whatever you will, in exchange for taking more of their abuse. Is that worth it? No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. New Age people believe we chose to come here as spirits. I think it just depends on metaphysical benefits. We come here as spirits. Explain, like I'm a little confused. Only inheritance for most of us is trauma. That's the only thing I've inherited. You know, I can hold up one finger for what my mom has taught me. The only thing my mom has taught me ever, is how to write a check, which is a boomer thing. Boomers write checks. Old people write checks. You know why? Because a lot of them are stubborn and narcissistic, and they don't want to get with the times. They don't want to learn how to use a computer. They don't want to learn how to use an iPhone. They don't want to learn how to use technology. They want to be stuck in their ways, using a typewriter, writing checks, doing things the old-fashioned way, because they're stubborn. They don't want to learn new things. And nobody uses checks anymore. I've never written a check in my life, except for practice. No, I take that back. I've written one check. I've written one check in my life. That was for an apartment. That's for my first apartment. But other than that, nobody's out here writing checks. You're not seeing people, at least I don't see people in grocery stores writing checks. They use debit card. They use Cash App. They use Apple Pay. They use Venmo. They use Zelle. They use some other form of electronic payment. Nobody's using cash anymore. Nobody's using checks anymore. But on the topic of cash, even cash is, becoming a rarity, because some places are getting rid of cash. Some places don't even accept cash anymore. So even that's becoming a rarity now. We were born, then we existed, experienced spirits, and chose to come to the earth. Um, I don't know about you, but I didn't choose to come here. And if I had a choice, I wouldn't have come here. So, um, the narc parents act confused why we left them to stop talking to them. They are baffled. They are baffled. Like I said, my parents still don't know why to this day. To this day, they don't know. They have the Pikachu face of, why haven't you talked to me? It's been years. Why haven't you talked to me? What have we ever done to you? Why haven't you talked to me? And you know what? Anybody who's still in contact with a narcissistic parent, do not give them the reasons. Do not give them a list of reasons as to why you stopped talking to them. You know why? You know why? Because they're going to go through every single one of those reasons and they're going to downplay them. Oh, no, that's not true. This is the way it happened. No, that's not true. It happened like this. I never said that. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And they're going to downplay, they're going to disagree, and they're going to explain every single thing, every single situation, every single scenario, every single thing that they've done to you. They're going to explain it away, and they're going to gaslight every single thing that you tell them. So don't ever tell a narcissistic parent what they've done, because they know what they've done. You should be saying you know what you've done and end it there. That should be the end of the conversation. You should not be listing off the reasons as to what the things that they've done to you, because they know what they've done. They just don't care. They know why they're being just. Of course they do. That's their whole persona. They're all disingenuous. Of course they do. They know exactly what they've done to hurt you. They know the things that they've kind of done. They know it's wrong in the eyes of society. They just don't care. They don't care. They know what they've done wrong. They just don't care. They don't care, guys. They don't care. You wasting your energy listing off things that they've done to you to hurt you, listing off scenarios, different things that made you feel upset, is not going to get you anywhere. They're going to gaslight every single one of them. They're going to tell you, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, it happened this way, it happened that way, you're lying, this or that. You're never going to get anything out of a narcissist. They just want to argue with them. It's a source of validation. It's a source of supply. That's the only reason why they're trying to get you to do it, so that you can stand there like an idiot and start fucking trying to explain to them why they're wrong. Because they love that. They get off on that. The narcissist will accept positive or negative attention. They prefer positive, but they'll accept negative attention too. Why? Because it makes them feel alive. Why do they need to feel alive? Because they feel dead inside. What makes them feel alive? You giving them attention. Attention. That's how they feel alive. That's how they're seen. That's how they're heard. Because they never received attention when they were younger. This is how they feel seen. This is how they feel heard. This is how they feel alive. Negative attention, especially negative attention. Attention in general. Just don't give them attention. Dry them of their supply. Stonewall them. For anybody who doesn't know what stonewalling is, I'll explain it in another video. But stonewalling is basically ignoring. It's basically ignoring them. A narcissist can't stand to be ignored. When they're ignored, then they're trapped inside their own head. Now they actually have to think of the things they've done. Now they actually have to look in the mirror. They actually have to think, oh, well, I'm not the person I thought I was. I'm not a good person. I'm this, I'm that. When the narcissist has to be alone in silence, that's when they have to be alone with their own thoughts. And they can't stand to be alone with their own thoughts, because they have to think about every single bad thing that they've ever done to you. You don't have to use coins or even a debit anymore. You don't have to use coins or a debit anymore. And pretty soon everybody's just gonna be getting a chip in their hand. Because why? Because if the pandemic has taught us anything, it's that people will obey if the circumstances are right. If people are forced to obey, if people are brainwashed enough, they will obey. And people will start getting chips in their hand. They will. They will. The government and society will convince people that it's good for them, that they need this. that it'll better their life. This is just human nature. People are just dumb. People will do it because it's cool or because they're convinced or whatever. Even if they get a sick gut feeling in their stomach, they'll do it. Because that's just the way people are. People can be convinced of anything as long as the person's good enough to manipulate these people. As long as the person's good enough at manipulating, people will do anything. People will do anything. If the pandemic has taught us anything, is that people will bend. People will bend if the circumstances are right. Let's see. They like all the attention, and they need all the attention. Because again, that's how they feel alive. They need the attention. They need the validation. They need it all. They need it all. They need to be seen. Why? Because they were never seen. Why? Why do they need it? Because they can't get validation from within. They cannot get validation from within. They need people to pay attention to them. They can't look at themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. They're all just one thing of many mess. That's all they are. They don't have a personality. That's why they have to distract themselves with people. That's why they have to argue with people. That's why they do it, because they need to take off their mind of the fact they don't know who they are. They have to take their mind off their problems. And this is one of the reasons why my parents always made me the scapegoat. Always argue with me, even argue with my siblings. This is why they always made us. This is why they suffocated us. My mom was the engulfing mother. The engulfing mother. The mother who held us all back, infantilized us, held us back from being true adults, treating us a lot younger than we were. My dad was the one who just picked on all of us. And again, why did they do it? It all goes back to if they weren't picking on us, then they would pick on each other and they would eat each other. And that's not good for them. So they have to do it to us, because if they don't do it to us, then they're going to do it to each other. And when, the times that did happen, it was messy. So narcissists need validation. Narcissists need people. They need validation because they can't get it from themselves within. Not selling my soul. Facts. I've seen this many times to count myself deconstructing with my father. My narcissist ex-friend is narcissist ex-friend mother. Yeah. It's sad, honestly, because I want a relationship with my family, but I can't deal with the shit. And you know what? It's better to be alone than be in bad company. It really is. It's something similar to, along the lines of what Robin Williams said. Again, it's better to be alone. You don't know loneliness. He said something along the lines of, you don't know loneliness until you're with somebody who makes you feel alone. And it's true. It's true. Sometimes it's better to be alone. You don't need that in your life. You don't need bad people in your life just because you feel lonely. Okay, it's better to feel lonely. It's better to be alone than to feel lonely. Or it's better to feel lonely and be alone than to be with people who make you feel lonely and alone, right? Yeah, my mom and my dad are the worst people I know, unfortunately. What are some of the positive experiences you've had after learning what narcissists truly are? Jesus. I wish I could say I still haven't had many positive experiences after I left. I left at 26, and it's just been a roller coaster up and down. It really has. I try to find positive out of the little things in life, even though there's so much to complain about. But there hasn't been that much. I mean, I'm working towards I'm working towards a better future right now. But if I'm going to be honest, there really hasn't been much. What was I going to say? My intuition leads me away from them real quick, and I feel better. I've gone no contact. My intuition not only leads me away, but the last time that I was with them, I was experiencing physical symptoms. I was actually gagging and throwing up being around them, if you can believe that. Like, my body was physically reacting to their presence and their negativity, and I was actually gagging, and I'd actually vomited in the, not in front of them, but being in the same house with them. Like, I've actually vomited, and I've actually gotten sick from being around them physically. I've literally vomited being in the same house with them. Your response to that question was valid because it was honest, and it is honest. And I honestly feel I can be more honest with you guys on here on this live stream than I can with my psychologist, because I tell my psychologist this. He's like, well, it just doesn't seem like you want to move forward. It's just like, you think this is all just going to go away like this? You think you're just going to see progress like this? I know I've been with you for 6 months, but Jesus, I'm trying here. It can't all be my fault. Like, I'm trying to do the work, but it just doesn't happen overnight. I'm going to have positive experiences here and there, but you think it's just a light bulb's just going to go off, or you're just going to be able to flick a switch and everything's going to be okay, and I'm just going to see the brighter side of life, almost all the time? Like, no. Sorry, it's not the way it works. I never gagged or vomited, but believe it or not, my blood vessel in my eyes broken from a quiet rage. I can believe that. There were times where I thought my head was going to explode dealing with them. Oh my God. All the times that I've had to deal with my dad fucking bullying me, just annoying the shit out of me, sticking his finger in my ear when I was eating breakfast. I couldn't even eat breakfast in peace. He would come over to fuck with me when I was eating breakfast. Or he would, like, stand on the other side of the counter and just stare at me menacingly. He would just stare at me menacingly. Like, just fucking staring at me like a fucking creep weirdo. Like, I'm trying to eat breakfast right here, and you're on the other side of the counter fucking staring at me like a creep. The stress is killing me. It's why I lead to chronic illness I'm trying to recover from. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us we get Crohn's, grave disease, we get fibromyalgia, which is what I think I might have, because my fucking bones crack and my whole body cracks every single morning like I'm 80 years old. I mean, yeah, we get symptoms. Of course, you can get physical illnesses, definitely mental illnesses from this abuse, because it's ongoing and it lasts for years a lot of the time. So it's completely understandable that you have these illnesses. And a lot of doctors will go, I don't know where it came from. Well, you know where it came from? It came from years of abuse. It came from years of abuse and our nervous system going into fight or flight mode all the time. Adrenaline and cortisol rushing through your body all the fucking time. You're not supposed to be in that state all the time. Your fight or flight mode is supposed to be activated for when you're in danger. And it's only supposed to be for a limited time. You're running away from a gunman, or you're getting chased by a bear, or you almost get hit by a car. That's when your fight response activates. You're supposed to be, in the majority of the time, and I've researched this, you're supposed to be in what's called your parasympathetic mode, your parasympathetic nervous system. But when you're in your sympathetic nervous system all the time, the fight or flight mode, when that gets activated, when that's on all the time, that takes a toll on your body, because, like I said, you constantly have all these stress hormones running through your body all of the time. Your defenses are down all the time. That's going to take a toll on your body. So, of course, that makes sense that you have, these different physical illnesses, of course. Hello, how you doing? I did cry when I did get banned on my narcissistic act because I like his friend who was cool, but he doesn't understand who my friend really is. But luckily, the flying monkey friend moved on. That's good, man. That's good. I feel as if I started physically developing allergic reactions to these people, so to speak. I have fibromyalgia, so I'm sorry to you have to endure it too. Fight, flight, or freeze. Kids exposed to constant stress are going to face developmental deficiencies, of course. I never went back with my ex-narcissist friend, but I know what you're talking about. Like, I got the biggest panic attack when he mentioned my phone in the middle of the night after 6 months, no contact. I would have panic attacks when my narcissistic friend that I cut out of my life a couple years ago now, he would just always call me. I just felt like a sense of dread wash over me, like I just didn't want to answer it. Every time he called, I just didn't want to answer it. But again, I kept in contact with him because we had history. We were friends for like 16 years. And I think a lot of people keep in contact with toxic and not, narcissistic friends for a long time because they have history. Because they think of the good times, not the bad times. They think of, it's the sweet mean cycle, right? They're nice to you and then they're mean to you, and they're nice to you and mean to you, and these relationships are like a roller coaster. But like again, when you grow up in narcissistic families and dysfunctional families, you're addicted to the roller coaster, right? In a way, you're addicted to the highs and the lows. And that's why you get into relationships with people that are like that are unstable. You get addicted to the highs, you get addicted to the lows. It's an addiction, and then when you get into a relationship with a normal person, it doesn't feel right because you're not used to it. You're like, whoa, what's nothing? You're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it's not dropping because they grew up with, they were raised in a healthy environment with a healthy family. You're waiting, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're still walking on eggshells, like they're going to scream or yell at you. But it's like, I haven't really had it happen yet, but I don't want to do it. That's, I'm going to be freaking out. But, the people that have had healthy relationships, well, I take that back. I have healthy relationships. I have, a couple of healthy relationships, but it's like, you know, I, I'm still always on edge. Like, are they going to yell at me? Are they going to scream at me? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? No, they're not going to do any of that because they grew up in healthy families. They have a normal sense of self. They have a decent self-esteem. They're not going to do that. But yeah, you get addicted to these relationships with these highs and lows, and then when you find a normal person, you're like, well, what do I do with this? This is not the kind of relationship that I'm. So, um, what's worse is that hold on. What's worse is that it seems no one understands or wants to understand. And I bring up the topic of narcissism. That's why I come to places like this. Well, I'm really glad my channel can help you. I try to again, I explain narcissism to the best of my experiences and from the research that I've done over these past 3 or 4 years. I'm really glad my videos can help you out. I'm really glad that can all help you guys out. This is why I do this channel. Again, I love doing this channel. I love helping you guys out. Um, it means a lot to me helping you guys out. I think I just like helping people. I like helping people understand that they're not alone in this, and that you know this is not just like a one-time occurrence. This happens. People have been born into narcissistic families around the globe. Like, narcissism is rampant in this society. So my past friends were never friends, and I think a lot of us can relate to that, unfortunately. I had a friend for 23 years. He was a narcissist. He admitted he went to therapy as a child. Therapist said both him and his sister can't be helped. Well, yeah, a lot of psychologists and therapists refuse to help these people because there is no pill you can give a narcissistic person to have them develop empathy. Empathy is developed when you're growing up as a child. You can't just give them a pill and have their brain chemistry completely changed. All of a sudden, they have empathy after they take a pill. It just doesn't work like that. It has to be developed from an early age. 6 years gone because of one person. Which person are you talking about? I didn't see the full. Okay. Oh, okay, with your friend. Yeah, Jesus. Here's a virtual hug. Thank you, Moonwolf. I appreciate it. I'm okay. I'm just, well, doing better. I'm just doing this live stream just because I wanted to, and I wanted to talk and help some people out. So, um, I was gonna say it's hot out here. Let's see. Any other comments? Kids exposed to constant stress are going to face. Oh, okay, I already read. Yep, they're definitely going to face developmental issues, deficiencies. All I've known is abuse, and unfortunately, that's pretty much all I've known too. Abuse, love bombing, manipulation. It's hard when you've been raised by people like this. This is what you attract. You have to reprogram your mind to attract normal, healthy people. You have to heal yourself in order to attract normal, healthy people. And again, this is something, again, I'm trying to do. It's going to be a journey, but I'm trying. I stopped all my meds because I started realizing it wasn't the problem. If a world's full, if it's worlds for people, cool, but if it works for people, cool, but big pharma ain't shit. Well, yeah, you know what, and they say most of those medications that people take a lot of them are just placebo effect kind of thing, where they don't really help as much as they say they do. I'm sure they do. Some of the antidepressants do help, but and I'm on the fence on antidepressants. I think if you really need an antidepressant just to get you off your feet and to get you motivated to go to work and to improve your life, then yeah, but it should be a very, very limited thing, taking an antidepressant, because it literally changes your brain chemistry. I mean, you can get dependent on them just like any drug. Um, and in my opinion, I'd rather have a life that I'm proud of, and I'd rather be happy, with a life that I'm proud of, than to go on a drug, to live a life that, that's miserable, and to just be on an antidepressant and be like, oh well, at least I feel that my life's still shit, but at least I feel a little bit better. I'd rather just build life and not feel like shit. I'd rather just have the life I want, build the life I want, than to just be on an antidepressant. But that's just me. Um, there's nothing really human connection can't fix. I mean, I agree. Like that, isn't that if and a lot of people find this out late, right? Isn't the whole reason? Isn't what makes life worth it? I would say, if anything makes life worth it, isn't it human connection? Isn't it sharing experiences? Isn't it making real friendships and relationships and bonds with other people? That's another reason why people are so depressed, in my opinion, honestly, because you don't have that anymore. Again, this goes back to social media, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. We have artificial relationships with people online. We don't have face-to-face interactions anymore. We have artificial relationships. We have, people liking our posts when we post them. We have people hearting our posts when we post them. We have people telling other people they care about people. We have video calling and this and that. But, face-to-face interactions, real human interactions, real friendships, where people are willing to put in the work in order to keep a friendship or a relationship alive. It's very rare nowadays. It's very rare with relationships, especially like people are willing to drop the other person. Like the first time, the first sign of trouble, people are like willing to drop that person. A lot of people, they're like, well, this is too much work. I would rather just move on to somebody who has less problems. And I get it. Like if that person has a lot of unhealed trauma and has a lot of problems, and you've done everything you can to try to fix it or try to help the situation. And you're not saying you're responsible to fix it, but you've done everything you can to try to get this person to improve their situation, to get this person help. And it's not working. The relationship's not working. Like I get it. But a lot of the people just drop